Hi everyone, I'm Arthur. Today I want to show you how to use Logic app in Microsoft Cloud Azure. The reason we need to use Logic app is to help us automate tasks and process in the cloud. You can use it to automate a simple process or a more elaborate process by connecting various connectors and platforms in the cloud. So how to use Logic app in Azure? The Logic app in Azure help us automate tasks in the cloud. The big picture of the automation has three components: a trigger, a response, and actions. So a trigger component or the stage is the step that actively monitoring the trigger that you set. And trigger can be set by time or a scheduler you set for the frequency of when you need to check on the trigger. So it could be every hour or every day or a particular day range such as Monday through Friday or on weekend only. So depending on how you set it in the Logic app. And it could be triggered by an action that performed by something a RSS feed or something being uploaded to a FTP site. So it really depending on the needs and of the trigger that you want to monitor. And the second component of the phase is you need to do something with that trigger. So in this response stage, you are triggering other connector or you are triggering some other process. So you're preparing those information for that the third or the final phase to be proceed. So the third component will be actions that you perform for the process that you want to result an action or you want to complete a task at the end. So for example, let's say we have a news RSS feed from a blog or a news site. So the trigger will be a new post or a new articles being posted by the site. So new item become a trigger, and then a response will be we gathering that information such as title, descriptions, or URL for that particular news article. So once we gather those information, we are going to do some action with it. So for our demo, we probably just want to gather the title or description and the URL into a spreadsheet. So that complete the automation of this process. So let's log into Azure, and in step 1, go ahead, hit search for Logic app in the text box. So click on the Logic app icon from the list, and it will land it to this page, Logic apps. So go ahead, click on the plus sign to add the service. So in step 3, you will need to fill out some forms in order to create the Logic app. Make sure that you select the correct resource group for your Logic app and fill out the app name and also the location. So once you fill out the form, go ahead, click on the reviewed and create button. The next page will be a confirmation of the information that you entered. If this is correct, go ahead, click on the create button. Once you click on the create button, wait for a few seconds or more for the Azure service is going to deploy and build your service for you. So once it's done, the message will say your deployment is complete, and go ahead click on the Go to Resource button. So in this page, you can see there's a lot of different connector or common trigger being listed here. So you can start right away. Um, if it's by the time trigger, go ahead click on this one. So in our example, we want to use, start from scratch. Go ahead click on the blank logic app. So go ahead search for the RSS connector. And the only trigger under RSS is when a feed item is published. So go ahead click on this. So copy the URL for the RSS feed in this text box and just leave this as a default. And let's see, how often do you want to check for the items? How about 1 hour? Okay, every hour I will check this feed to see if there's a new item is published. So after we finish our first step in the Logic app, we want to insert to a Google Sheets from the feed item that we receive. So let's create the spreadsheet. So once you finish creating the spreadsheet, you should go ahead, name your column header as such. Okay, so make sure you have the title and link for this demo. And let's go back and create the second step for the Logic app. Click on Google Sheets or search for Google Sheets. Okay, and there are several actions for Google Sheets. And what we are interested is to insert a row. Click on Insert Row. Okay, and the first step is to create a connection to your Gmail service. So at this step, I already have some kind of connection from my Azure account to Google service account. So once you finish the connection, go ahead, click on the file so we can browse. Click on the arrow icon. Click on the folder. And this is the worksheet. And once you finish that, go ahead, select the worksheets, which is sheet 1. Okay, so because we already create the header, the column header in the spreadsheet, then it automatically show you the field that we want to connect. So go ahead, click on the checkbox for title and link. All right, so right now we are matching one-to-one relation. So title column will be matching to the feed title, and the link will be the primary feed link. So make sure you should have a column name for these two items. And when this is all done, click on the Save button and make sure you see this message saying that the Logic app was saved successfully. A common error would be a JSON formatting error, which means that you are not doing a one-to-one relations. You're probably adding a lot of different uh, feed item to one column, and that often give you the error. So you need to correct that. Okay, that's it for creating the logic app. So once it's already been created, at this point you can just leave as it is, because it will work on the trigger. Or if you want to manually trigger it, the process, you can click on run. But if you don't need to, then you just leave it as and this is done. So once the process is being automated, you can come back to the dashboard to see if it's being processed. And the history will be in this area. So every time it being triggered and run, and you can see here from the runs history. So nothing happened because the trigger is waiting for a new feed item is being published. So currently there is no article being published from this new site. So we don't have any response. So after the trigger has been run successfully, the information will be inserted in this format. And the last column will be ID that automatically insert by the Azure Logic app. I hope the steps in the videos are clear. And if you think you learned how to automate your task in the cloud, please give the video a thumbs up. If you like to see the video like this in the future, please subscribe. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I will see you next time. Bye bye.